Tell the story of how
No.
Grammy happened to get you a husband.
Very simple.
You know this
My
story?
mom used to work at the local library here in Oceanside, and occasionally she would come home and say, "You should meet this young man. He's a very nice young fellow, and he works in the library in the summers."
You
And she-
being a spinster of 22.
Yeah. With
Old, dried out spinster.
no prospects in line. But I knew when she spoke the name, I knew the name because I used to date a guy that was in the same high school graduating class as Papa. His name was Tom Woodward. And he used to speak of many of his friends, one of whom was Dad. And so when Grammy said, "Come meet Paul Sereno," I got to the library. She pointed him out. Like, he's over there. So he was busy at the time, and I went over in that section, and he was kind of futzing around with the books and stuff. And he came over and said, "Can I help you?" I said, "Do you have any books on Joan Baez?" Now I don't know if you know who that is.
What?
But I was very heavily
No
into
sale.
the folk music.
No sale.
Joan Baez.
Yes, the folk music.
I'm trying to
of the
think,
1960s.
who would they think of as Joan Baez of 2021?
Odetta.
Someone not dead.
I don't know. Judy Collins. She's
Someone they definitely know.
So anyway, he was like, Papa was in his early part of his political leanings, and he was like heavily conservative, and he was
It meant something else then than what it is now.
He was for a guy named Barry Goldwater, who was running for president at the time, and so me asking about some liberal hippie type of singer was like, "Do you want to know this girl?" So anyway, it came about that I mentioned Tom Woodward's name, and we got connected in that way. But I left the library that day without really having a date or anything. And then a week or so later, I got a phone call, and it was from, and not a cell phone, mind you. The guy had gotten up off the sand in Long Beach, walked to a payphone, and called me to let me know, "Come down to the beach. Paul Sereno is here. He wants to meet you."
Who said?
Tom Woodward.
Oh.
So I got in my car, my little Renault,
French car.
and I got to the beach, and it's history from there. From then on, he called me like every day. We went out, I don't know how many times in a week. The first dinner I ever had at a nice restaurant was with Dad.
The Ho King?
No, it was at the Snapper Inn.
Oh, the
Yes.
Snapper
And that
Inn.
was very elegant to me.
So that was it. She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna let go of this one,"
Yeah, we hit it off like gangbusters at that point.
even though you were a dirty hippie.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
dirty
I know I was a
liberal.
dirty hippie.
Yeah.
Dirty hippie.
Dirty liberal.
So you gangbusters and blah blah blah. How did he happen to pop the question? And where were
He
you?
kind of always knew.
I know, but he must have at some point offered you a ring.
He did. And the way he did it was his car was parked in the driveway at my parents' house in Oceanside.
The red
We were
Mustang,
going out,
1964 and a
I
half.
got in the car and did the red Mustang. And he said, "Oh, would you get whatever it was he wanted out of the glove compartment?" So I opened the glove compartment, and there, in silver paper with a bow, is a little box. Emily knows. See, women know what these things are. And I know, of course, what it was. We had gone, prior to this, to choose the actual diamond because
Oh, mommy
Papa-
would like to hear this. Yeah.
Papa's Aunt Lily was married to a guy named Sal, Lou, and he was friends with, I don't know if it was his neighbor or something, that worked in the diamond industry in New York City. And Sal knew that, and he said, let me hook you up with this guy. And the guy came over to their house, wherever it was, Merrick or something, and he opened up this little envelope or piece of folded paper, and there were probably 6 loose diamonds in there, because we had told him, or I shouldn't say we, but Papa had told him how much he was willing to spend, and selected a diamond from amongst that group. And then I had to pick no, I don't think I picked the setting. I think Papa picked it himself.
So it wasn't that much of a surprise.
It was not a surprise. It was only
Yeah.
it was only the when and the means of delivery that was the surprise.
Mm.
And I have, or I did have movies of me holding up my hand like this outside of the car after I
Yes.
put it on.
So it was, So tell us how your father, you wanted to get married right away, but he said no. Do you know this story, Steve and Emily? All right.
Yeah, well, we met at the end of July in 1964, and by September we knew we wanted to be married. And I told my father
July
we'd like to be married,
September?
and he said, could you give me some time to put some money together so I could pay for it? Because back in those days, the bride's family paid for the wedding. The bride and groom usually did not pay for their own wedding. So that was in September, and we waited until the following June of 1965 was when we were married. But yeah, he didn't have the money. Of course, he didn't put it aside. Why would he? He didn't know he was going to get married or meet somebody so soon. Well, how did Michael pop the question to you?
Yeah. How'd you get a ring?
How'd you get hooked up?
It's our anniversary.
What,
We were out to dinner.
where? The Snapper?
Great.
We're not going to get into all my specifics.
Why, you
'cause
could
I
tell.
don't remember them.
Now tell the story of how you came to be married in that church that burned down. And the rainbow.
How I came? Well, for one thing, we lived here with Grandma and Grandpa because we were waiting for our house to be built. And where else do you go but to the parish church that relates to Oceanside? And so when we got married, because I wasn't Catholic,
Did that cause any hubbub? Did he try to get you to convert?
no, he did not try to get me to convert, but I was pretty amenable to doing whatever because I didn't care. You want to get married in the Catholic Church, fine.
I know,
Wanna
but he never suggested
raise the
you
kids
should. You have to
Catholic,
get. You have
The
to
only
convert.
thing that pissed me off was that they wanted, because I wasn't a confirmed Catholic, to get married on the outside of the railing
Yeah.
that
Stephen, I don't know
surrounds
if you
the
know
altar.
this.
Like you're the wrong kind of Christian. Like I was raised not a Catholic, but a Protestant, but still believe in
Did you know that?
Jesus.
She wasn't allowed to go to the altar
Because
Right.
she was a Protestant?
because she was not a Catholic,
Right.
but still a Jesus lover.
Christian, but not
Yeah.
Roman Catholic.
That's right.
So that really annoyed me a lot. Okay, so then we proceed to the venue for the reception, which is at,
I thought you were going to tell us about when you came out of the church and it had been raining.
I don't remember that.
Well,
Were you
if
there?
you watched, no, but I've seen it because if you watch the home movies of their wedding, which are famously terrible because Aunt Lily,
Was drunk.
was she drunk at the wedding ceremony before the wedding, or she was just 4 feet tall and didn't know how to use a camera?
4 feet tall. And
She was
I
4
couldn't
feet. She was
focus.
like Sophia Petrillo filming, and all she gets is everyone from here down.
That's my wedding video.
No heads.
You both have that one.
So she, after the wedding, it had rained, like it poured, right? It had rained a lot during their wedding ceremony, but outside of the church, after their wedding, and it's on the video, a big rainbow.
But that was over Carl Hoppel's. That wasn't.
Oh,
over
it
the
was?
church,
I thought it
yes.
was by the church.
Beautiful.
Oh, all right. So I had it wrong.
So where was that?
Delete.
Carl Hoppel's was a big catering hall that was on Sunrise Highway in Baldwin.
What's over there now? You don't even
It
know.
might have been torn down. I don't know.
Oh, all right.
There were several Carl Hoppels, as Aunt Lily
So-
used to call it Carl Hoppus, because she misinterpreted the L part for an I.
Carl Hoppus.
Carl Hoppus. And don't forget, we went over to Silver Lake to get our pictures taken.
Right.
Before we went to Carl Hoppus.
And then you went
It
on
was
your
windy. It was a little misty because of the rain and stuff.
and you went on a honeymoon to.
Fort Dix.
I thought you went on a cruise.
Well, we didn't go right away to the honeymoon because Papa had his summer obligation with the Army Reserve.
Oh, like Stephen, obligation to his guns.
And we had to go to New Jersey to Fort
Oh.
Dix.
Guns.
So I was the only female amongst all these Army guys that Papa was in command of. Well, he and I were obviously in our own room. And then in the morning, he'd get up and go to the actual fort and be in charge of these guys in military uniforms. And I would stay at the hotel or motel all day.
Doing what? Watching Dark
Nothing,
Shadows?
Doing nothing. There was nobody there because they all were the guys from.
What did you have a book? There was nothing. There was not
No,
even
we had black and white TV.
black and white TV and magazines.
I don't even know about magazines.
Okay.
Damn.
All right.
And then when he came back at night, they, being men and young men, wanted to all get together and drink and blah blah blah. So we went to somebody's room, and I have pictures of one of his lower in command guys, like a sergeant or something, with a bottle of alcohol, like pouring it into a fake cut in his arm, like an IV.
Nice.